Hello everyone and welcome back to the studio here in Northumberland, and today I'm going to do a painting in watercolour pencils and this is the picture I'm going to do. I took this the other night, well last night actually, down the road behind the beach. You can just see a little smidgen of sea there in between the dunes, and there's Frank, but we'll have Frank and Bert in it obviously. So what I'm going to do to start with watercolour pencils, is do my outline drawing just like I would with a normal painting, with a normal watercolour painting. But I'm going to use a blue, a light blue. It's very, very light. And if I don't press on too hard, I won't have any line left when I finish the drawing, when I put the paint on. Time for the reading glasses. And starting off here, and you'll notice as well, this is portrait format. I'm actually making it landscape format, and that's because I know what's either side of it. So I'm starting off with the bit of sand dune there, and coming down there, and there's a bit more sand dune coming in from here. This light blue is lovely actually. And there I've got a smidgen of sea that you can just see. You can see the sea just in between the dunes. And a little bit of distance there. You come down there. And then off into the distance here. This is dunes going off, way off into the distance. And then here, I've got some bushy bits about there. And this is a walk that I take the boys on when the tide is too far in and there's no beach left. That's the end of the track as it vanishes there. And then come further forward here. That's the track. There. Now, load more bushy bits here. Like so. And what I say about not pressing on too hard. With watercolour pencils, it's just like any other kind of pencil. The stronger you want the colour, press on harder. The weaker the colour, don't press on at all. Simple as that. More washy bits. And some bits down here. A few little bits here and there. And now, this is grass, green grass next to the path. You can see it's green and then goes to all these lovely russet colours. And I'm just drawing the line in there just to remind me where it changes from green. And here we've got a gate on a lean. You can see it's leaning, look. It's actually a style. I'm just going to have a gate there. There's one bit. And another bit slightly taller, that is slightly nearer. The other side of it. Then the gate bit. 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 strokes going across there. And then a post. Don't know what that's for. Oh, it's a style, isn't it? It's a style, girl. You didn't tell me that.
You just said it was, and then you said
Did I?
we're going to do it like a style.
That's true.
You have.
You see. What day is it today? I have no idea where I am. There's a few posts there. And there's one coming down here as well. Actually, there's another one there. And then a bit coming off that. And a load of grassy stuff, grass, underneath there. A couple more bushy bits down here. And here, I've got a couple of puddles. I just have two. How's that, girl?
Lovely.
Can you sound a bit more convincing, please? Oh, I've got a big bushy bit there. Where's that coming out? Above the other stuff. And these are all marshes. Well, on this side especially. And of course, Bert is determined to go into the marshes all the time because it makes him stink. There. Now, all I've got to do is colour it in. Now, I'm just going to get the colours that I need for these bits in the foreground, the bushy bits and the grasses. We'll start off with those two. And I've got here, there's some lovely colours in the watercolour pencils. This one, gold ochre. Basically, it's like raw sienna or yellow ochre. And that one is dark sepia. Lovely dark colour. But it's got a little bit of warmth to it. Now, on with these. And like I said, lighter the colour, lighter the pressure when you're drawing it on. And I'm not pressing on very hard here because that's further away, all that stuff. That's that. The light is not really coming from either direction. I'm going to have the light coming from the right. So even less pressure in that case. Put that there. And some over here. And some of that over here now as well. Again, fairly light pressure. And straight away across over there. And this, it's like I always say with watercolour pencils, it is such a fabulous medium because if you're scared of watercolours, to start with, use watercolour pencils because it's just like drawing. And then afterwards, you do the drawing, then afterwards, colour it in, just like a kid's drawing, and then stick some water on, and you've got a painting. And they ask, and it is that simple. A little bit more pressure here now. And these are fabulous for going on holiday. If you're going on a holiday and you want to do some drawing or some painting, just take your watercolour pencils, maybe 2 brushes, and that's all you need to take, and some paper. And you'll always find some water somewhere. And you can do your drawing out on location and then come back and add the water and make it into a painting afterwards. Now, I've got, with my dark sepia, got a few bushy bits here, look. There's one bushy bit. Another one here. And there's a few more which I'll just add without the drawing. And this big one here. Nice and dark on that side, so I'm pressing on harder. And as I say, you can wet it at any time. You don't have to make it into a painting straight away. In fact, you don't have to make it into a painting at all. You can just have a colour drawing. But if you want to make it into a watercolour painting, you can put the water on at any time. Come back 5 years later, 10 years later, and put water onto your drawing, and it turns into a watercolour immediately. Basically, Just add water. Just add water, Gail. Gail's been very quiet, Julie. I find that very unnerving. Now, a little bit of Venetian red. Isn't that yummy? Is that yummy, Gail?
It is. Looking yummier when you've added the water.
Ah, so it's not nice now then?
Oh.
Okay, fine. That's enough. Enough said. Bit more there. Bit of Venetian red there. A couple of touches in here. Not much. Then over in the distance there, all that stuff, I'm going to add a little bit of Venetian red, very light strokes. Just there on the top bits, look. And you soon get used to these things so that you know what's going to happen when you do put the water on. And I've been using them long enough to know what's going to happen when I put the water on. So now I'm just going to get a little bit of Prussian blue. Put that in there, look. That's my distance, far away. Or it will be. And you'll notice I haven't done the sky yet like I normally do. Always do the sky first. Not in these. It's easier to do the sky when you've got the drawing done. And of course I'll show you that now. With that. And now I'm going to have a little bit of that Prussian blue. You know what? I'm talking to myself here. Gail, I'm talking to myself.
I can hear you.
The sea, there look, just there. Light strokes. And the distance there look, slightly heavier strokes. And someone said on YouTube feedback on the last one, which was about a week ago I think, it would be really helpful if you could put the picture up so that we could see what you're doing. You can see what I'm doing, the picture's there. That's what you're supposed to be looking at. Now, a little bit of that light cobalt again, just there, look. Like that. And you'll be hating that sound of pencil on paper, no doubt, at home. Oh my word, he's scratching the paper. Oh. Like that. I'll do that for the time being. And now, into some grass. And I've got two greens here. I'm going in with sap green and moss green. Now, into some green. There you go. And this one here, moss green. In the, we sell kind of like two sizes of watercolour pencils. The 24 tin and the 12 tin. And if you're doing landscapes especially, the 24 tin, once you've got that, you've got every colour you need, to be honest. I mean, a lot of these pencils, you see some fabulous looking sets of pencils, and when you open them up they're in different drawers. There's hundreds of them, and what do you need them for? I can't understand really. There's only so many colours you can use, well, to my mind anyway. And once you've got enough, all your earth colours and all your natural colours, I can't understand why you need more. Like I said, a tin of 12 is okay if you're a bit worried about them and you don't want to invest too much. But you'll find that a tin of 24, you've got all that you'll ever need. And the pencils that I'm using are Lyra. Beautiful. Rembrandt, Lyra. And they've got a nice softness to them. And a little bit more pressure now, look. Now I'm going to the, which one's this? Sap green. Look, a little bit stronger, a little bit greener, brighter green. Some bits of that down here. And now it's time for the big bits of marsh. That, and here I've got a little bit of brown, the warm sepia, dark sepia as well. And this time, look, different stroke. Instead of going across, look, going across like this. Bert's favourite bit. Ooh, that noise! That noise is annoying, yeah?
No, not as bad as a pencil actually.
No, it's not.
Softer.
It's amazing what wine some people like in that. A few bits over there. That's in here. And again, going upwards, look, up and down, rather than across. Now, a few bits of the brown, the dark sepia, there look. As I said, if you're on holiday and you take these, you can just sit down in a corner somewhere, do a drawing in your sketchbook or on a pad of watercolour paper, and then have a pleasant time doing your drawing, and just pack it up. And then afterwards, come back, stick some water in, on, and you've got a painting. And it does work, it really does. Now, on the gate, pressing on fairly hard there, look. Bit there. There and a bit there. So look, I'm doing the darker side first. Now underneath here, I'm not pressing on as hard there. All about the pressure, how strong you want the colour. And a little bit there. Now in with the Venetian red again, now, pressing on harder. That little post, I'll leave that till afterwards. Now, back to the yellow. Sorry, golden ochre. What I'm doing, look, very light strokes there. Further away, it's further away. Harder strokes here. And now, it's time to stick some water on. With the sky in these, I tend to not pre-wet like I would with a normal watercolour. I just go on with the colour but with loads of water into it, and for that I'm using a 3/4 inch wash brush. Again, it's the same brushes that I always use, my Aquafine brushes, and I'm starting off here with a little bit of light cobalt. And if you were to draw, like I've done here, draw the colour on the sky, quite often you're going to end up with some pencil marks left in the sky. Hard, scratchy lines, which you don't want. So instead of drawing on, take the water off the take the paint off the pencil. Look. There. This is my light cobalt. Just get it moving first. Like so. See? Come all the way down now. Just keep going in and taking the colour off of the pencil. And again. Keep the pencil going all the time. See, that's giving me a nice pale sky straight away. And I don't, to be honest, don't really need to do anything else with that, but I'm going to. Obviously, I can't leave it like that. Down to here. Now, in with Prussian blue. Got some darker bits there. You've got so many yummy colours in this lot. A bit more there. Yeah, that's cool. How's that go?
Lovely.
Yummy.
It is yummy actually.
Now wash out, squeeze out, just like in a normal watercolour. Because now it's wet, it is just normal watercolour. Just move some clouds around. Put it out there. Bit more around there. And now just let that dry. Now the sky's dry enough. It's probably still a little bit damp there, but plenty dry enough. And what I'm doing now, just wetting what I've put on. And I'm going to use two brushes. My 3/4 inch flat and my number 8 round. Again, both aquafine. I'm starting off in the distance there, look. Just with a wet brush, wet and soften the distance there. And a little bit underneath for the sea. That's all I need from there. Now, with my round brush, through the round window. Remember that girl?
I do remember that.
What was that? What to the mother?
Play skills.
Play school, yeah. Bit there, bring this across, and I'm just wetting my drawing. There's a few bushy bits in the distance. Move that down to the yellow underneath it. And a bit over here. Bit more water. I gave you a chance to get in then, didn't I?
Mm-hmm.
I'll leave that for a second and let it dry. Now, in the meantime, back to here. Wetting the dunes. And I'm going to have some dark side in here as well in a minute. Or should I say a bit darker than when I put it on. Put it across there. Wetting all this stuff. And you can see that's lighter as well. Nice and light down here. And around the gate, don't want to wet the gate yet. So I want to make those darker as well when I do it. The posts and things. Wet the little bushy bits there. Got a drip, girl.
Yeah.
What I say about I want a dark side in those dunes. Just going to pick paint up here and drop a little bit in between there. Those dark bits there, I've got here, or I did have. Speak amongst yourself. Van Dyke Brown. There we go. Van Dyke Brown. And I'm not drawing this on, look. While all this is still wet, I'm just going to take some paint off the pencil. There. Chipping my round brush. And drop some bits in here, look. Like I said earlier, I want the light to be coming from the right. I'm just dropping that in down the left hand side of some of those bits. Bit down here as well. You see how that gives that more shape? You see that, Gail?
I do see that.
Good. It's down here. And in between the two dunes. There. Without going too dark, it's just giving it more shape. Because at that kind of distance I don't want anything too dark. Now going back into these bushy bits here, wet these. And as I put it in, look, what I'm doing now, I've made the wet colour on the paper. So now, drop a few bits here and there, look. A few more touches here and there, bits there. Just roughing it up a little bit. Roughing it up a bit, that's another technical term for you. Now, coming down here, wet the other bits of gold ochre that I put on for the marshes in the middle distance there. And also at this stage, wet the big bush there. Merging the colours. And this is what I was talking about earlier when I was doing the drawing. I know what's going to happen when I wet it. So look, I'm taking the dark into the light and then bring the light into the dark, softening and merging. And that's giving more shape to the bush. Towards the end of this, we'll be having a lot of shadow in here as well. Now again, tap on with that brush into this rough stuff here in the foreground. Just dabbing on. Doesn't matter if I get a little bit of run like that. Now, again, bring the dark here, up into that lighter bit. And also it's good to have a few little bits of white paper show. That's why I'm tapping rather than painting solidly, because it's nice to have a few bits of white paper showing in between here and there. Nothing wrong with adding extra light by leaving your paper showing. And of course in watercolours there's no finer white than the white of your paper. Bit there. Now just dab on a little bit here and there. Taps there. And now you can see it's starting to come to life because it's becoming a painting. And again, dabbing on here. Just tap. Again, leaving a few little bits of white paper showing. Any questions, Gail?
No, I just think it's magic the way it turns into a painting.
So we know it all then, do we?
Most of it.
So you're ready for the written test at the end then? Most of it. Get you. Now, I'm going to wet the gate because that stuff behind it is dry enough. And again, tip of my number 8 round brush there, wet it, the light bit first, then go into the dark bit. And you notice I said earlier that on the photograph, there's Frank, but we'll be having Frank and Bert in, and I haven't put them in, but actually drying them afterwards when it's dried. You've got so many choices of the way that you want to work with these things. They're very, very, very forgiving. And again, a bit here. And in some parts, of course, you can just put the pencil line on and just leave it as it is. You don't need to wet it at all. Like, for instance, if you're painting people, paint the people on and just leave them if you want. You're standing out proud. Now, a few little bits. I'm going to take some Van Dyke Brown off my pencil there, look. And we'll have a few little bits in here and there. Again, I'm just dabbing. In a kind of like, I'm dabbing in a kind of grassy way. You know what I mean though, don't you? Kind of. A few bits here and there. Or should I say grassy way? Now, I'm going to go to my 3/4 inch brush for a second and wet the grass. Remember, I put 2 tones of green on there, the moss green and the, what was the other one?
Sap green.
Sap green, that was it, moss green and sap green. You see? Well reminded, girl.
I am listening.
You have your uses.
Most of the time.
I'm merging those 2 colours in. There. And again, a little bit of that over here as well. And again, merge the colours together, look. Easy peasy. Bit of that. It's coming along. I want to let that dry for a second now before I put a swathe of water in the pot. It's not quite dry either side, but it's dry enough because I don't mind if I drag a little bit of green into the pot. That's a technical term, I guess. It's one of your ways of speaking. Yes. Right? Now, just with the 3/4 inch brush, Gail has this thing where she does everything with her hands.
I think I must be Italian.
Yeah. Merge up, stroke over. Get rid of some pencil lines, leave a few shine. Don't forget my puddles. Just with a wet brush. And look, that's what I say, I don't mind dragging in a hint of green. Bit there. Around my puddle. And again, dragging a hint of green there. Round the other puddle. And off into the distance. There. And there the path disappears round that bushy bit there. There'll be more colour to go on that as well in a minute, but at the end. And it's not that far off the end actually. Now what I'm going to do is going to do a load of taking bits of paint off of pencils and just dabbing on here and there. Gives you a little bit more shape, a little bit more depth, a little bit of darker areas. And this is another thing about these things. If you want to mix colours, you can mix it on. You can either do it like I've done it here, look, where I've put several colours on there, 3 colours on there, and then merged it on the paper, making the colour on the paper. Or you can mix on your pencil as well. Look. Here I've got a little bit of Prussian blue, bit of that, bit of Venetian red, and I'm mixing the colour on the brush. I can now have some darker stuff here, look. A bit more of those. Going a bit stronger. There you go. A few touches of darker colour here and there. Bits here. Like I say, this is not the shadow. I'm going to put the shadow on at the end. These are just a few darker touches in amongst things. And all those little bits make the gates sit down into the landscape. Look, that's another Gaelism.
I think that's a Charlieism.
No, that's a Gaelism. It's there. Now, a little bit of Venetian red, just by itself. Bit bit of that, take a bit off. Have a few touches here and there, and a bit stronger. Yeah. Touch it over here in the distance, warming up with Venetian red. Now, back to my 3/4 inch brush. And again, it's the Van Dyke brown. I'm going to take the paint. Incidentally, I'm wetting these, look, and you would think you would ruin the pencil. But look, if I just go in there, and wipe it off on my smock, there. Now, ready for drawing again, look. See? You're not going to ruin these things. They're very sturdy. And this set that I've got on the go at the minute, I think these are probably about 4 years old, Gail, something like that.
Probably.
4 or 5 years old.
Being a kind of Yorkshireman.
Being a kind of Yorkshireman indeed. And the other thing is, I always use a penknife to sharpen them with. That way, it's not all regular and just one sharp point. By using a knife, I've got various angles to the edge of the pencil, so I've got more areas to use, sharper bits. Now that's just a little bit of Van Dyke brown that I'm popping on here and there, look, like so, with my 3/4 inch brush. So I'm leaving the undercolour showing through as well. A few bits there. And going further off there, look. Just with the sharp edge of the brush. 3/4 inch wash brush. Easy peasy. Now, in for some shadow. No, I won't. I'll put Frank and Bert on first. Will I? No. I'll outline my puddles first. And this is something that I never use in watercolours, black. And this one is called, no it's not, that one's light green. Get a grip, Evans. There we go. Schwartz black. I don't know what Schwartz black is, but there we go. And I never use it in watercolours. I never use black in watercolours. But in the pencil, it's quite nice actually. It's not flat and dead. And I'm just outlining the puddle there, look. Just on one side mainly. And another one there. Just outline the puddle. Press on a little bit harder there. So now I've put that paint on, that pencil on. Now, just with the tip of my number 8 round, just touch it and drag it across. Yeah, there's my puddle. There's another one there. Don't want to disturb the line too much, but I just want to knock off some of the white. There. Now, Frank and Bert, and of course, they're black Labradors. How handy that I happen to have black in my hand, Gail.
As if you knew what you were doing.
As if. Now, I've got a little rectangle there. And another one inset there. A couple of bits coming down, a tail there. Don't know which one that is. Is that Frank or is that Bert? And we have another one here. I think it's Bert in front, isn't it, really?
Usually.
There's my babies.
Yep, definitely Bert ahead.
Yep, that's what I thought. Now, time to do the shadow. And what I need for this one is, I'm going to get my colour out. There we go. God, who thinks up these names? Pale Geranium Lake. Yeah, so that's a bit of Pale Geranium Lake and a bit of Prussian Blue. And that's what I'm going to use for my shadow, those two. But what I'm going to do, again, with my round brush, mix this on the brush. Just get that one moving because I haven't used that one yet. It's a colour that I haven't used, girl.
Mm-hmm.
Bit there, bit there.
And you.
Now I'm going to have a bit of shadow from the dogs. There. You see that? Mixing a colour like that. It's a dark colour, but there is a warmth to it because of the red. Edge it there. A bit more red. Yep, that's better. Edge it here when it comes up to the path. A bit more there. And that's going up the right hand side of the where the grass meets the path. And a little bit there. So that bush is casting a shadow there. Keep mixing. Bit of blue, bit of red. Now we'll have some down here. And a little bit across here. Bit of dark there. All with my number 8 round brush. A little bit there. And a few touches in here, not much. You can see like it's verging on a purple tint there. Good for shadow. It's dark, but like I say, it's got warmth in it as well because of the red. A bit in there. Now, take this up here a little bit, just with my flat brush there. Soften where I put the line of shadow. Soften it up into the grass. Do we need some seagulls in here, girl?
Why not?
No, need a bit of black. And for the seagulls, or birds, or whatever, I don't need to wet it afterwards. It's just a pencil mark. Look, there's a tick. And a stick. This is probably those crows that actually linger around the sand dunes, girl. Have you seen those 3 crows that are always hanging?
Yes.
That'll do, really. And there we go. Once I've taken the tape off, the finished picture. And you can see how lovely and vibrant the colours are, but you can tone them up or tone them down. Like I did, you can add warmth with the various warm colours like the Venetian red and of course the red. Get a bit of distance with your blues, tone up, tone down, experiment and play with them. And there's Frank and Bert as well. And you'll notice I didn't wet them. That's just, like with the birds, that's just a pencil mark. So you don't have to wet it all. But the landscape itself, you've got all the colours that you would have in your normal paint palette. Well, actually, there's more than I have in my paint palette. So you've got all the vibrancy of any landscape wherever you may go. So take them away on holiday with you. Use them. It's a personal memory of a place or a day or a time or a place in time. But watercolour pencils, they're just so lovely. And like I say, I've got a tin of 24 here on the go, which is my Lyra ones. We also do them in tins of 12. There you go. There they are. So we've got 24 tin, which is the one that I'm using, or the 12 tin. Lovely, lovely pencils. And they will last for a lot of years. Even the rate that I go through things. How long do we say? About 7 years? Probably about 7 years old. We've got lots of books in watercolours. Actually, we've only got 2 of these left. But these 2 here, the pocketbook and the watercolour rescue, people are buying these all over the world because it's such a useful little pair of books. And we do them in two, and it's called, what do we call it? Double help.
Double help.
Double help, that's it. How to do it, and then if it goes wrong, how to put it right. Basically. The paper I'm using for this painting here, and for all of my watercolours, is the Langton. Again, we have this in this size, or we have it in A4 as well. Langton Rough, beautiful watercolour paper, and of course it's internally sized, so there's no wrong side or right side to which side you paint on, because it's both the right side. Lovely, lovely stuff. And everything that I use is Dale Arowney, obviously, and it's all on my website, charlesevansart.com, all the stuff that I use anyway. And it's lovely to see you. Hope you enjoy this one. Bye bye.